Hi and welcome to another episode of Digital Retro. In today's Up to 8 I'm gonna talk about the Nikon Zfc. Again. Well, since I had this camera for like 3 months now, I think I can share more of the experience I got with it. And this channel is more about the experience and the feel you get from the gear instead of, technical specifications. And especially I got the new TTartisan 35 0.95. I think you should know more about this great combo. So the TTartisan 35 0.95 is actually a really good and compact fast prime that fits the Nikon Zfc really good. If you're looking for a great looking retro analog-like combo, I think this might be the best way to get into the photography right now. I think the TTartisan 35 0.95 is a great lens that fits the Zfc perfectly in terms of the retro design, the feel you get from this lens, and to a very distinct character of this lens. This lens with the ZFC is, a jewelry combo. It really looks really good and it really feels good to work with. Both the focusing ring and the aperture ring provide very precise operation. The aperture ring is, has this subtle click, and the focusing rings turns very smoothly and allows a very precise focusing. Especially that you have, the magnification and the focus peaking options right now. So it's really, easy to learn the manual focusing, and it's also very rewarding when you pinpoint that, that focus. And since this lens is a equivalent of a full frame 50mm 1.4, it's a very universal lens. You can use it, in many different situations. You can use it for street, you can use it for portraits. I was shooting a lot, street and portrait scenarios, and this lens became my, one of my favorite everyday lenses, along with the ZFC, which is a very inspiring camera. Actually, this the ZFC with the TTartisan 0.95 creates that very, very inspiring combo. Because you have this analog-like feel, and you really take your time with the camera and with the lens, and the images it produces are very distinct, very good looking. I think when you look at the images, the TTartisan 0.95 creates something very close to a full frame rendering. I'm shooting mostly full frame, but when I take the ZFC with the TTartisan 0.95, I actually get this image that resembles full frame a lot, and I really like the bokeh that comes out of this lens. It's surprisingly sharp at the center with the very soft corners, but since I'm a street and portrait photographer, I don't mind this little soft corners. And especially if you put this lens for like f4 or f5.6, they become better, that you can shoot landscape with it as well. But I think it fits the street and portrait photography and like everyday photography the best. It has a pretty nice contrast actually. It reminds me a little bit of my Fuji 35 1.4, which I did used to shoot with my X-T20. And the rendering and the colors you get straight out of the camera are really good from this lens. which is, you know, as a Chinese lens that, you know, produces a little dreamy image, wide open, and at 1.4 you get this pretty nice and contrasty and surprisingly sharp image that I think in most scenarios surpasses some of the Voigtlander lenses. You know, the bokeh also gets a little swirly with this lens, which for me is good because I like this like Helios type lenses, and especially for portraits you get this really distinct rendering, and it helps you to expose the subject with a very artistic way. And since this is a like 50mm equivalent, it gives you this universal perspective. So you can use it for street and for portraits, and like for some RC details as well. I actually enjoy just carrying this camera because I can just take it out and snap some pictures with it. And I'm not, you know, since it's a manual lens, I'm usually taking my time with it, so I'm not snapping the pictures like mindlessly. I'm just, you know, thinking a little bit about the composition, about the thing I want to capture. It's not like snapping all the you know, stuff around you with your phone. It's like more a way of thinking about, you know, the composition and about the subjects, which is, I think it's very important when you're getting into photography. And the main con of this lens is that it's not weather sealed. The TTartisan didn't even add a, you know, rubber ring around the mount, so you should, you know, be aware of that. You probably won't be able to use it in a very harsh environment. And considering the TTartisan, they have this really weird policy of designing the lens. I mean, each of their lenses looks like they've chosen a random person to design the lens for them. So there's no consistency. Each lens looks different. One is really cool and one is like, you know, ugly as hell. And I don't know why they keep doing this. They should just hire one person to make a very consistent, minimalistic line of their lenses in terms of build and, you know, the looks. Because the TT35 0.95 is actually not bad, but some of the people don't like the white stripes that resemble the old German lenses. I think it's okay, but they should, you know, I think they should just design something more universal, something more minimalistic. Anyway, I think the 35 0.95 is a great nifty 50 lens. I think it's like a modern retro nifty 50 because you get this analog feel, you get the manual focusing, and you get this distinctive rendering that will, you know, make your images pop, you know, if you're going into photography, and or if you're looking for a retro vibe camera that will, you know, be inspiring and that you can carry around. So the ZFC with the TTartisan 35 0.95 is actually a really good choice. I think you can make a lot of great pictures with it. I think you know, it's like, it's a camera that will, you know, become a part of your personality. It will definitely become your friend and deliver great pictures. Okay, so that's it for today. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, keep on shooting, and see you in the next video.